Yo, what's going on? In this video, you're going to see me review a closer's call recording. Just a few weeks previously, I had done a similar call recording just like this, and in a pretty short amount of time, he was able to increase his sales pretty significantly, actually. So we're expecting something similar to happen after this call recording, but we're yet to find out. I have gone ahead and timestamped this entire thing for you. Well, I had AI do it for me, but you'll see down below every single piece of feedback, major piece of feedback that I give, you'll see a timestamp for it where you'll be able to listen to the context of what actually happened on the sales call and then the feedback that I actually gave afterwards. Right now, with that said, I would highly encourage that you take the time to watch this thing in full. This is going to give you a great idea of what an overall sales call will look like and a lot of like very common mistakes that are very easy to fix that most people just don't, right? So that's all for this intro. I'll see you on the call recording, and let's get to work. Let's jump in.
Doing good?
Cool. Micah here from Logan's team, the Creator Loop.
Yes, nice to meet you.
How's your day going?
It's going.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, glad to get you on here. You all set for the call? Mind if we hop right into it? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So if you made it to this part of the call, you've been through the whole webinar, you know what Logan does, how he does it, you've seen success of the creators that we're able to bring into the space as well, and then the results we're able to get for them. The goal for this call is really to make sure we can do that for you as well. In order to do that, gotta ask some questions on kind of like your current state, where you are, what's going on, and then if I feel like we can help, we'll build out that game plan, and then towards the end of the call, I can get into like the investment and get you up and running. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
Agenda way better from what it was before. A lot better. First thing I noticed with this lady is like she's she's got a smile on her face. She's enthusiastic. She's open, right? Like there's not any sales resistance whatsoever that I'm noticing right off the bat. She's pretty friendly, pretty open. I think she made like a joke or something. Usually, and just for you guys, especially the newer guys, the way that I think about it, you kind of want to do the opposite from what the person is giving you. Right? So like a lot of people make the mistake of when a prospect hops on the call and they're like super friendly and happy and like, hey, what's going on? Hey, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Like you'll reciprocate that friendliness. And then all of a sudden, like you don't have any type of authority. And then like if you're in a moment of the call where you need to kind of, challenge your prospect or objection handle, now it's really hard to do that because you started out the call like super friendly, right? So like if someone's like super friendly and open, like great. I'm not saying be a dick, but I'm just like, I would be just like super straightforward. Okay, great, awesome. Well, what I'd like to do here on the call, I just want to start out with a couple questions, see how we can help you out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Yeah, just kick us off, give me some background on yourself, and I will take it from there. Right? Like very straightforward. If somebody's like closed off and they're like weird and like tense and like sales resistance, in that case, I would be a little bit more friendly to get them to open up. Right? So like you're doing some of that with your agenda. You're like, hey man, you were like, hey, listen, like what I'd like to do here on this call, I just want to start out with a couple questions, see how we can help you out. So just keep that in mind, just for future calls. I don't think you did anything wrong there, but just a no.
Okay, so yeah, why don't you one thing I did add like, we'll get into the investment at the end of the call. I started doing that just because I've had some people that were like, had like no idea of like an investment. Should I keep that or cut that out? I'm just like,
yeah, that's fine. Okay. That's fine.
Just kick it off and give me a little bit more background on you and like what got you really motivated to get into, the mentorship with Logan.
Many years ago, so I'm 57 years old. I actually went to school for communications, did some video editing, commercial making, things like that. Graduated from college, went into advertising, and really at that time there wasn't like what we do now with.
Okay, as we're listening to this, just guys, don't just listen to it passively. Eric, Gus, Marty, don't just listen to it passively. Like think through, like what question would you ask, right? Like as you're listening to what she's saying, and then when she finishes talking, eventually, I think she talks for a little while. What question would you ask? Where would you want to go? What are her pain points? Like think through what she's actually saying as if you were running the call yourself.
Yeah, but one more thing, Misha, if they do like to start to like talk too much, I think that's a problem I have too off the start of just kind of letting them go. And then do you just usually just like kind of cut them off or like you're just like, oh, you said something important?
Yeah, we'll play it out.
Cool.
a lot more selling of advertising. And I was like, well, I can't sell my soul to the devil. This is not for me. I'm not a salesperson in that sense of let me go out and try to sell you something.
Yeah.
So I actually got into education. I've been a teacher, like I said, assistant principal, now director of elementary. And I've always liked commercials per se. Like I think it's fascinating what people can do, especially with videos. And
Yeah.
I really just started kind of, like I said, exploring TikTok probably a year ago, March.
Okay.
And I just found it very fascinating. The first person that I saw was, what is her name? She's a blonde girl. I can see her in my head.
Callie.
It's not Callie. Her name will come to me. But what she said was, if you're over the age of 50, you can do this and you can make good money doing this. And I'm like, really? Because, I'm over 50 and never really thought that I could do anything like this. So, the algorithm for TikTok, the more you watch things, the more it pops up on your feed. So I just started seeing a lot of stuff about UGC. And I'm like, well, what is that? And so the more I looked into it, I was like, well, I can do that. I started really watching TikTok with a different lens and really started to look at the way that people were making videos and what they were saying and what they were doing. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a try. And jumped on really, like I said, the Billo app, the Join Brand app.
Yeah. So like everything she's saying so far, because there are some prospects who will just like talk a lot and like they just yap about a bunch of like stuff that's meaningless. Right. In this case, like you just want to ask yourself, like, okay, like is what she's saying, like, is it moving the needle forward or is it moving it backwards? Right. Like is this information relevant to, where she's at in the buyer journey? Like, is this information valuable to you in terms of like understanding where she's at with, her journey in e-commerce? What do you think?
Yeah. Right now, where she's at.
Yeah, 100%. So like, yeah, like in this case, we'll, acknowledge what she's saying. Okay, nice, cool, right? But no need to like jump in, cut her off, or at least not yet.
Cool.
And have had some success with it, not a whole lot. I think primarily because it's not very lucrative, and it's a lot of, you have to put it out there, and not a whole lot of return. And I mean, I have a career, so it's not like I need something else. But like I said, at this time and point in my life, I mean, really under 5 years before I retire, I'm like, I really want to do something when I'm done. I don't want to do anything that's in the education realm because there are lots of avenues that I could go with that. I don't want to do that. I want it to be fun. So for me, the making of videos, the editing, the learning how to do all of the different stuff, to me, that's fascinating. That's what's fun. So I watch videos just to watch them and see what people do.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
so let me get this straight, like, correct me if I'm wrong, went to, communications, kind of always had that like passion for like, like commercials and like visuals and like just being like creative, right? And didn't want to go down the technical advertising, like traditional sales route. So you got into teaching and, that's what you were doing. And now you're at a point where you'll be retiring soon and you want to pick up something that, you learned about a year ago, TikTok, and you see people making money and, you're dissecting how it all works and you want to get into it. So after you retire, you can have some cash flow and like, as start off now and when you're retired or what does that look like, I guess?
So for me.
Okay. I mean, just for Gus, Eric, that's an example of mirroring, right? So she just talked a lot, right? So it's like first thing we want to do. Okay, gotcha. So like from what I'm hearing is like you've had seems like a pretty long career in education. Started out as a teacher, now you're a principal. You're coming up on your last few years of retirement, and it seems like you've really taken an interest into online business and TikTok shop in particular. Is that right? You just kind of repeat back everything that you just heard, show understanding, keep control. There was a really good question. There was an important detail. What would you guys, Marty, what did anything stand out from like just that last little bit that she said that you could have dug deeper on?
Yeah, actually the fact that for me at least, that she's looking for a little bit more of like a purpose for the rest of her life. Like she's not really, to me, she didn't really seem like super like money mode. Like she wants to keep cash flow, obviously, but it's kind of like something to do as she's about to retire and get a little older that stood out to me.
You said something to do with?
Like she wants something to do, like in general is what I'm saying. And this might be it for her right here. And I also noticed that she said that she had tried something in the past and didn't work. I mean, I was kind of analyzing her personality the whole time too.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, the detail of her like potentially trying something, or she was definitely doing a lot of research. I don't know if she said she tried anything.
Maybe.
Hang on. With the okay, she's getting a little bit older. She's looking for something that's like exciting, that's interesting. I think we can come to that. Is that something that she said explicitly, or is that something that you're kind of just connecting the dots on?
Kind of connecting the dots. To me, at least, she seems like kind of like more of like an A-type female, a little bit older, probably didn't have kids, and now she's kind of looking to, like, I know it's funny, but I'm being for real. You know, I think she's kind of looking to kind of, you know, have something to do and a little bit of meaning towards the end of her life here. I think that's, to me, that's something what I noticed.
Okay, good. I think you should like connect dots in your head, and you know, see if you can come to like some conclusions in your head based on what they're saying. But it's very important that you don't just like assume, but you ask, right? If there's something that you're assuming, it needs to come from your prospect's mouth, right? There was something that she said here, which would have been really good to dig deeper on. Because like Michael, like you kind of recap what she just said, but like you didn't really know where to go there, right?
Yeah, I like psyched myself out of the whole thing.
Something I probably, sorry to cut you off, Michael, but something I noticed she said is she's looking for a purpose once she retires in 5 years. So she's obviously kind of planning the future once that comes upon her. Because I didn't hear anything of her saying she's kind of unhappy with her current situation, but she's almost like preparing for when that time comes, so she's not brain rotting on TikTok.
Okay, hang on. Because we want to get to this now, right? And this would be kind of the moment. We need to figure out, okay, like why? Like why? How does this woman go from like, I don't know, 10, 20 years teaching, being a principal, the school? Imagine like, if you think back to like your childhood principal, imagine thinking like that person getting into TikTok shop. Like that's a crazy thought, you know? Like
she said she didn't want to get into education. That's what she didn't want to go down the education road or something like that once she retired, but she grazed that surface.
There was one thing that you said here.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
So for me, the making of videos, the editing, need something else.
Yeah.
But like I said, at this time and point in my life, I mean, really under 5 years before I retire, I'm like, I really want to do something when I'm done. I don't want to do anything that's in the education realm because there are lots of avenues that I could.
This time and point in my life, I really want to do something fun. Right? And then you're kind of like, okay, cool. So like you're coming up on retirement, so now you want to, you know, do something different. Right? I'd be like, okay, so like I guess like what about like this point of your life makes you want to do something different? Right? Pretty simple, you know. But then that's where, you know, you'd find like the real reason, you know. Something very simple, right? Yeah, at this point in my life, I just want to do something different. In other words, at this point in my life, I just want to make a change, right? That's one of those things where like you just hear it and then you kind of like, you're like, okay, like sure, that kind of makes sense. So then you just don't ask about it. But like that's exactly where you're going to find the information that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Literally that right there. Okay, cool, gotcha. So you mentioned, you know, teaching for a little while, coming up on retirement now. Seems like you're really interested in you know, online business. Is that right? Okay, cool. And like you mentioned something there. You mentioned that like at this point of your life, you're looking to do something that's, you know, maybe a little bit more fun, maybe a little bit more fulfilling. I mean, I guess like, what exactly are you referring to when you say like at this point of your life? Yeah, well, you know, the last like 10 years, I've just been stuck in this career and like, you know, it's been good, it's been okay, but like, I'm not really excited about it, you know. I haven't really found the fulfillment that I'm looking for. And, you know, now that I'm coming up on the end, I'm thinking, what am I going to do next? And this whole TikTok thing, blah, blah. And then now it's like, now we really understand. That would have been the point right there.
Yeah. I think I'm noticing like, I'm like in the, you know, situation, I'm like taking too long or not as specific as getting to where I want to go as fast. And then it'll take me like 10 minutes when I could have like asked like a more specific question at the start or something like that. That's like what I'm seeing right now where I'm at.
Yeah. So as she's talking, you're just like looking for something to dig deeper on. That's what you're waiting for. Something that you can get her to clarify and open up on. All right, then okay, you repeat it back. Let's keep going.
Means that the longer I work, the more money I make for the rest of my life, a percentage wise, 70, 80, 90, you know, you get up to 100% of your pay. But for me, it's it's not really fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's okay. My job actually is really kind of boring right now. I mean, I coach
Just
people, but
day in,
you know,
day
they can
out.
choose to
Yeah.
listen to you or not. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, want something. So really, I mean, if I could replace my income now, I mean, this would be my last year in education, and I would do this stuff full time because
Okay. You
I mean,
enjoy
I find
it.
a lot of my time, I'm like, you know, if I didn't have a job, I could actually do more. But
Yeah.
I have
Okay, something that works really well with women, specifically, also with men, but you know, just an approach I really like with women is, you know, well, okay, it's a positive label, right? Are you guys familiar with that? Have we talked about labels?
I think we talked about a negative one, where we say most people are like this, but other people like this, and by the sounds of you're closer to the latter.
Right. So I mean, basically, what a label is like, like, you know, Marty, like, man, like you're always like the first guy to you know hop on these trainings. Like, it really says a lot about you and like your level of dedication towards sales, right? That's an example of a label. You know, like I'm labeling you, you know, based on like something that you do all the time. I'm going to label, hey, like you seem like the kind of person who's, you know, being on time and showing up, you know, is representative of your commitment to just your craft and your career in the space. You know, it says a lot about you, bro. Right? That's something. Now I make that label, and then now you're going to live up to that even more, right? It's a positive label. When you give your prospect an identity, and you just say like, hey, like, wow, like that's awesome, right? Now they're going to want to live up to that label, right? So, you know, a simpler example would be like, hey, like you really seem like the kind of person who, you know, takes action on opportunities that are in front of you. Like you're not the kind of person to just wait for something to happen. Like you're the kind of guy who's going to make it happen. Does that sound right? Cool. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you just developed recently? That's another like good follow-up to a label. If you want to gas somebody up, if you want someone to like love you, honestly, is like drop a label and then ask them, have you always been that way, or is that just something you've been working on recently? Now they're going to be like, oh my gosh, wow. Like that's how you give somebody a banger compliment. Try that with someone around you this week.
How would you? I understand the women aspect, but I guess with men, like, is it the case they're more feminine, or is it more kind of egoistic type of men, or which approach would you do with men?
Same thing. It works with men also. It's just you know, with like women just in general, they're a little bit more emotional, right? Men are going to be more logical, right? It doesn't, you know, people like think that like that's a, you know, people take offense to that because of like craziness in the world today. But like it's not a good or a bad thing. It just like is. This is just how people are wired, right? Women are going to be a little bit more emotional, right? So we want to kind of play to those things, right? So a positive label I would give here is like, hey, like, I mean, it really seems, Andrea, like you're the kind of person where, you know, you're not worried about necessarily a paycheck or like whatever, but like you're really driven by doing things that you're genuinely passionate about. And it sounds like maybe in the last few years, you haven't really found that with, you know, your career. And it seems like that might be one of the reasons why, you know, you're so excited about getting into something like this. Does that sound right? She's going to love that, right? And then, you know, I probably wouldn't do the whole, have you always been that way? Or is that just something that shifted for you recently? I probably wouldn't do that here because then she's just going to talk for too long. We're going to get stuck. But just like a label like that, hey, like it seems like you're really the type of person, like you're not willing to do something just for a paycheck, but like you want to do things that you're genuinely passionate and excited about, right? And it seems like you don't really have that with where you're at. Is that right? Now it's like, yes, exactly. That's me. I'm the kind of person, I love doing things that light me up. I'm creative. I'm this, I'm that. Great. And you don't really have that opportunity with what you're currently doing. Is that what you're saying? Gotcha. And so like now she's, you know, fully adopted that identity of, hey, I'm the kind of person who does things that light me up, that get me excited, right? Which would be our business model, you know? So when you catch a moment like that, when you see a positive character trait which aligns with the type of person that your prospect is trying to become, like shout it out and give them a positive label. right? And then they're going to be more likely to embody that label for the rest of the call, right? Something like that would have been nice.
Have a job. So, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if I could replace my income right now, or even get really, close to it, because I'm at a point where I could have retired several years ago.
Yeah.
I just haven't, because it doesn't make sense, because the longer I work, I make more money, obviously. So if I could replace my income, this absolutely would be the last year that I'm in education, and
Yeah.
I would absolutely move on.
Okay, so it seems like this is something, it's more like not just like a weekend warrior kind of, gig. It's like, you're willing to commit to this full time to transition out to what you're doing now. I guess, like, what does that look like?
If you're going to drop that, be like hit home with that, we discussed it, and honestly, Micah, you implemented like a lot of the things that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. That's good to see. So I know we talked about this. Gotcha. So just to be clear, like for you, it doesn't seem like this is just a side hustle. Like this is something that you really see yourself doing ultimately as a career. Is that right? Like if you like really just be clear about that, rather than, okay, cool. So like it's not a side hustle, it's more like something you want to do full time, right? You like really just kind of lay that down. That's a big commitment there.
Like, if like best case scenario, you get in here today and, just get up and running, like, and you're able to leave, within this next year. I mean, like, what is required, I guess, for that to even be possible,
For me, it's
Okay, one other thing, because the reason why you felt like you didn't have leverage at the end of the call was because you didn't have like some kind of pain, right? You didn't really find like the thing that she's trying to move away from, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what's she moving towards?
Wanting to, have something that she's excited about, to transition out of her current, situation.
Right. Something. So, as a, so she wants to. If I, want to eat food, what does that mean?
You're hungry.
Exactly. Right. So like on the flip side of what somebody wants is going to be like a lack of something, right? And like that's always going to be just a stronger motivator than, like the pain is going to be a stronger motivator than pleasure, always, right? So that's why you felt like you didn't really have the leverage. So I mean, what you needed to do there was kind of something like I just touched on. I mean, is there a way that maybe you would repeat back her situation to highlight that?
That's what I probably should have done, right? And then I kind of jumped into like more like vision based, right? Or
Yeah, exactly. You moved on to vision. So like how would you have kind of gotten it to like maybe the lack of fun and fulfillment?
kind of like dug a little more, like asked her, like what's currently like going on, or making you want to go into this full time. Or I mean, she kind of already said that, right? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, this is, by the way, like pretty common. Remember, Eric, we were talking about this the other day. You were asking like, okay, like what if someone like doesn't really have pain and like move away, move towards? We were talking about that, right? And then I told you, I was like, hey, like it's either they like have pain, that there's like something they want to change about their situation,
Or they're just not talking about it.
exactly, or they just don't want to tell you for whatever reason, right? In this case, it's not like defensiveness or ego or whatever, but it's just like, she's just in a good mood. She's talking about the things that she wants. Like, great, that's awesome, right? So, if someone says, yeah, like I would just like to be able to make more money. I would just like to be able to have more freedom. I would just like to be able to travel more, right? It's like, okay, gotcha, for sure. So like this is your situation and everything, and you want to have a little bit more freedom. So I mean, I guess like, would you say like you don't really have the freedom that you would want right now? You position it like that, right? Or like in this case, okay, gotcha. So you're kind of coming up on your last few years, and it sounds like you're looking for something that's just a little bit more exciting, something that you can really get behind and get excited about doing day to day. Would you say like you haven't really felt that for work recently? No, not at all. Like it's, I mean, I like it, it's fine, but like after so many years of doing it, it's kind of the same thing all the time and blah blah blah, right? Gotcha. Wow, how long has that been going on for? So like what was really the turning point when you wanted to actually do something about that? and then boom, you have it. Does that make sense? It's actually a pretty common thing that comes up, and that's something.
Yeah, I think that's like a huge thing that I'm going through right now is like in situation, and then don't really like ask like the specific question, like, you know, I could have dropped that, and then I get into vision, and then I'm like still searching,
Yeah.
like for it, and then it takes me 20-30 minutes to be like, okay, I got what I need, kind of, and then like get into like, everything. And yeah.
Right. So like actionable, bro. What would be the actionable for like a reframe like that?
To be able to ask those questions, or what do you mean?
Like, let's say the next call that you take, right? The guy just said, listen, man, like, honestly, like things are going pretty good with where I'm at. Like, I really just want to be at a place where I can just make more money. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be able to earn more, make more. And that's really why I want to master trading or whatever. How would you just flip that into a pain?
Oh, like, okay, gotcha. Like, seems like, you're at a spot where you want to make more money. What's making you, or is that something you don't have right now where you can't make more money, or like kind of, I guess, like ask that question?
Yeah. So like, would you say like you're not really making the money that you would want right now? Okay. So I mean, like, I guess like what can't you do because of that? Like, what's so bad about, doing what you're currently doing? Right. And then you can kind of just like angle it straight back to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
Would you say? So, okay. So like, would you say like right now, like you don't really have like the freedom that you would want?
No, I don't.
Right. And then, okay. So like when you say that, like what exactly, like what freedom don't you have? Like, what does that actually look like? Like, can you give me an example? And then now we can kind of, move the conversation back into pain. And like, when you say it like that, would you say, it gives you an opportunity to like be wrong, and it's not going to be like a big fuck up,
Yeah.
where they're like, no, that's not the case, you know. Now they can kind of just explain more about, what's going through their head, right? But anyways, that's a really important point. You guys will 100% run into people who just like don't really open up about their pain. Like, we do want to get into something. Okay, let's keep going.
It's going to be so let's say I joined with you guys, and one, it's legit and it's true and it's consistent, right? I can't have it be where like, oh, this month you're going to make $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000, and then you go 2 months without making anything. I'm like, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not a high risk kind of person. Which is one of the reasons I did go into education. I love kids. I love teaching. I've always been a teacher. I always teach people, whatever. But I need it to be something that, one, there's going to be support. So if it's not, and I'm truly, and I say this, I know people think I'm crazy, but I truly want good feedback. People don't give you good feedback because, like, I think in Logan's webinar he was doing, he said, we may tell you something that's going to hurt your feelings, but we don't mean it to. Like, I've got thick skin. If you're telling me, hey, don't do that, or don't say that, or don't, move your hands that way, if that's what's going to keep me from being successful, then I'll do it. I've never had like anybody, I mean, the closest I've had is my youngest daughter, who's 24. I send her my.
So there's like two ways that you can perceive what she's saying right here, right? There's two things that you can hear, right? It's kind of like that thing. If you like look for, a red car on the road, you'll start seeing the red car on the road, right? And if you look for a fucking, yellow car on the road, you'll start seeing yellow cars appear, right? Because it's like what you're looking for, you'll notice, right? So it's like, if the last 4 leads that you spoke to were like, freaked out about the investment, and they were, caught off guard by the, coaching or whatever, right? You hear the part where she says, yeah, like I'm super risk averse. Like, I cannot have a month where it's up and down or whatever, right? But if you're looking for, hey, like, if on the flip side, you're looking for signs that this is a great lead, here she comes in and saying, she like brings up the support that she's looking for, unprompted. Mentioned like on the webinar, yeah, the guy said he's going to tell me like what I need to hear, not what I want to hear, and she's like, bro, like super receptive to coaching. Like, she's looking for coaching, and she's looking for like good quality coaching. She's looking to make an investment on this call. That's what I hear from what she just said right there. So like, let's give her the best, the most expensive thing that we offer, and then take it from there. Is what goes through my head when I hear that.
My videos, and I'm like, critique these. She's the only one one that will be like, oh, don't say that. And I'm like, well, the company told me I had to. She's like, okay. But she's the only one that will critique anything. Everybody else always says, oh, it's good. It's good. Kind of current on my page has been from companies paying me to do stuff. And so I put it on my TikTok. I'm like, if somebody could sit and like have a conversation with me and say, this is good, this is not good. I mean, clearly I don't understand because I've bought things like hooks to sell. So, her name Callie. Callie, she in the time. Gotten free, like the samples, and I've done videos, and people say, oh, they're good, but they don't.
Yeah, so like she is kind of like yapping around here. Like a lot of this stuff is just kind of like extra talk.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So like let me ask you this. Like again, like she wants you to like take the lead, right? Like she just mentioned she's looking for, a lot of support, a lot of coaching. Gotcha. Cool. Great. For sure. Okay. So like you've tried this before, blah, blah, blah. Let me ask you this because it's really important to me. Like I want to understand exactly where you're trying to take this, right? Like you touched on it a little bit here, but like what would you say is really your goal with this? Where do you want to be with this by the end of 2025, let's say? Or just like jump in and drop a question like that that's really specific and really direct, just to take back control, because all this stuff is kind of meaningless.
How like using the hashtags and using, like you hear all these things that people say on TikTok, use the hashtags, use trending sounds, use all these things, and then you go, okay, well I think that'll work, and then you get nothing.
No, a lot of the misconception when they come in here, they really think you gotta like there's just perfect hashtag or there's perfect product or the perfect way to do it. But in reality, like a lot of successful creators, they just like have that like conviction in what they're doing and that system and like framework that they stick on, so they don't try all these crazy new things and they're just bouncing around. They have that one consistent strategy that works for them, and then that really is as simple as that. If you had like the exact like frameworks and everything, the outlook that Logan had, and he's successful at it, and you were to do it, do you feel like you would like be able to succeed, or it would make it worse?
What do you mean? Like if somebody said, hey, do this.
Yeah, like just like exactly like the the exact blueprints that Logan does, right? Would you follow him or just like kind of keep doing what you've been doing?
No. I take directions very well.
Okay.
I broke my finger and he.
Okay. I like that you implemented that. So we spoke about this yesterday. But that was a good opportunity to so for you guys, Eric, Gus, Marty, what Micah just did there was it's basically highlighted a misconception, right? She's talking about trending sounds and like hashtags, like that stuff from like 5 years ago, where that mattered when it comes to social media. Like hashtags, like 10 years ago. Like hashtags don't mean jack shit when you're posting content, right? So like I would want you, bro, like right there, just to be a little bit more polarizing. I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah. Is it Andrea or Andrea? Whatever. Andrea, can I keep it 100% with you? Yeah, please. Yeah, honestly, when it comes to trending sounds, when it comes to hashtags, like all that stuff, like it might help a little bit, but honestly, like all that stuff is meaningless. What really matters is X, Y, and Z, right? That's what's important. So like as long as you have X, Y, and Z set up, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to monetize what it is that you have going on, right? I'll be a little bit more direct there, a little bit more like, hey, like honestly, like that stuff doesn't work at all. This is what you need to be doing. Like if your prospect is like genuinely wrong about something, like again, if you guys like if you guys come to me and like you do some shit on your calls or that you think is correct, right? But then like I come on and I'm seeing you, I was like, wow, like that's actually like a major mistake that you're making and it's costing you sales. Like you guys would expect me to tell you that you're wrong if it's uncomfortable, right? Like that's why you guys are here, So it's the same thing, right? Like if you can, if there's an opportunity for you to like correct your prospect on something and let them know that they're misinformed, like take it, because that's expertise, that's trust, authority, all that stuff. Let's move ahead here. I saw you drop the story. Let's listen to the story.
Yeah, I use that like every time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went and consistently, move. Friday hit, and she had this one product that was like really building the fundamentals and the foundation.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
a lot of it is products, but I mean, at the end of the day, like there's a lot of products that do sell too.
Yeah.
And it's really the behind like having the right strategies in marketing and how you go about it.
Yeah, and like just keeping it real with you, like products they're important, right? But at the end of the day, the skill you're learning here is the content, right? Like between you and me, like your product literally doesn't matter at all if you know how to make content. Like you see what people make content about these days. If you know how to make content, like you can choose any product you want and you'll crush it, right? And I see so many people like stress and worry about picking the perfect product, and then they just get stuck forever when it literally doesn't matter at all, right? So like for you, like can I count on you not to get like stuck in that paralysis analysis of what's the best product and just focus on the content? Yeah, 100%. Same thing that I just mentioned. That was another opportunity to do that.
So it kind of reminded me of this lady that came in. She was about your age, but the only thing that was different, she's completely new. You've been here for a year, like right around like this time too. I think it was like in August, so she came in last year, first time. First month, just getting the basics down, you're getting her shop, hopping on the calls, like really building the fundamentals and the foundation. Second month, like it was like what, October.
Give this person a name next time.
Okay. As well, like was on brand deals, had starting to bring in some small like commissions, right? And then I remember like it came around to like, what was it, like Black Friday, and so like a lot of the brands, they make like about like 50-60% of their like revenue on Black Friday and that
right.
Cyber Monday. So Black Friday hit, and she had this one product that was like kind of like blew up. Guess like how much she made on that day?
I hope a lot.
Yeah,
$10,000. I don't know.
no, not 10,000, but she was able to do like 3K in that single day. So like just from going like
I love that, Eric and Gus. That was that story that Micah just told. That was a story that I just would tell over and over and over back in 2020. Because there was like a woman who started and then was like stuck at her house and then went like all in on her business and then whatever. That little setup right there. And then I like told a couple of my reps to do this. They started abusing the story. They react like this every single time. Where would you say, hey, and like this whole story and this build up and this is where she was and then she got started, and then 3 months later during Black Friday, I mean, guess how much sales she made? And then they always like, I don't know, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, she did about $2,000 in total sales in a single day though, right? It's like, imagine making $2,000 in a single day when just a few months ago, you would make $2,000 in a month or something, right? When you kind of get them super, like you get them expecting like some big crazy result, but then like you bring it back down to earth to something that's just like real and believable. And
every time they say like 10K, 20K.
Yeah, and then you always get a positive response where you're like, okay, well, like not that crazy, but like this is what they actually did. Is like they saw these kinds of results right here. And then you probably always get a good response right there too, right? They're like, oh wow, oh that's great, that's awesome. Just key principle, right? Like as you guys are telling stories, and that's something that you guys are going to learn, but you want to drop stories throughout your calls. People don't typically respond well to like the big crazy stories and the massive numbers. Like people respond really well to like the realistic and like attainable stories of regular people just like them who saw like a decent result, right? And they're like, oh wow, that's great, like that stuff works well. So yeah, I'm glad you tried that out too.
3K that took her like 2 weeks to make at her job before, and then so from there like really kicked things off, and then she was able to hit 3K, 4K, 5K, and went and consistently move on to bigger commissions, and brand deals got bigger as well, right? When you have bigger commissions, you're selling more, brands like want to pay you more as well. Sure. And then she stayed consistent from there. But like, yeah, really took that just like the initial like just understanding like the process, of how things work, and that direct like strategy with keeping it simple at the end of the day, and not like just making like so much videos, like 10 videos a day, but like making a quality 2 or 3,
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I guess like for you though, like coming in here, seems like you're in a solid spot. Like it's not like a huge leap where you're trying to go. But it's just like that from where you are like a couple $100 a month to like, getting to like 4, 5, 6, 7K to actually be able to do that consistently and leave your job. It's just that like that little skill gap right here. And so coming in here, I want to know like,
a little bit too much talking right here.
Well, how would you like transition from there?
she's moving around and stuff. I might
Yeah.
just be like, hey, everything good? Okay, cool. I'll let you get settled. You know, and then wait till she sits down and then get back to where you wanted to go. Because yeah, it seems like you were kind of like, oh fuck, she's like moving around. Is she listening to me? Should I like keep talking? Should I not? Yeah, I just needed to just like, hey, everything good? Okay, cool. I'll let you get settled. Just take a sec.
Well, it's going to take a little bit of work, right? And like consistency. Is that something that you can like make a priority here so we can, work on you and build those skills? Because I know with your full-time job, like, is that something that's going to get in the way or?
So I'll tell you a story to answer that. I did an Ironman. Do you know what Ironman is?
Yeah.
So you swim the 2.4, bike 112, run a marathon. Hey, I did this or hey, I didn't. I mean, I'm sure there's things that I do that are like stupid little mistakes and I don't even realize feedback. Like I said earlier, like if you were to say, hey, go make this video and I make it and I send it to you and you said, okay.
It seems like we're going to be able to get you up and running here. But before I get into that, I'll go over everything and just kind of like more of like, what consists of like, obviously the commitments on your side too. And so with everything here, it's $3K for the whole program. It's going to be lifetime. Can you, like, how does that like sound to you? Is that okay? Does that make sense?
Honestly, it depends on what comes with that. So if you
Okay,
said I'm going to
cool.
give you a video course, I'd be like, nope.
Okay, cool. I just want to make.
Before, I mean, look, here's I do know that you have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
In order.
Because that kind of like really aligns to like what we have going on, and it seems like we're going to be able to get you up and running here. But before I get into that, I'll go over everything and just kind of like more of like, what consists of like, obviously the commitments on your side too. And so with everything here,
hang on, I want to play this back in like regular time.
It's $3K for the whole program line to like what we have going on, and it seems like we're going to be able to get you up and running here. But before I get into that, I'll go over everything and just kind of like more of like, what consists of like, obviously the commitments on your side too. And so with everything here, it's $3K for the whole program. It's going to be lifetime. Can you, like, how does that like sound to you? Is that okay? Does that make sense?
Shaky.
Yeah. I'd stop doing it at the end. I wanted to start like doing it in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I like I think in the past I used to be like, no, like, oh, you only price drop after the presentation. And and there's a lot of people who are like super hardcore, like never tell them the price until it's the end of the call, and then the person who speaks first loses, like all that bullshit. It's not that serious. So yeah, I think getting into just like touching on investment and just like having a brief conversation about it before you get into your presentation is actually really effective, because a lot of people will just be like thinking about the investment and the number, and they're like just waiting for the number to come, right? So like as you're getting into your presentation, they're not even listening to your presentation anymore because they're just like thinking about the number, right? So yeah, I think this is fine. Just go about it a little bit better. I would do two questions, right? Okay, cool, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like from what you just mentioned there, like we're in alignment. It seems pretty close to what we do in terms of training. We'll definitely get into that here in a sec. We'll go over everything when it comes to what we offer and what you can expect. Just before we do, as long as everything does align with what you're looking for, like how soon are you looking to actually get started with this? Right? So as long as everything does align with what you're looking for, and I'm going to tell you about it in a second, right? But like after we talk about it, as long as you feel awesome with everything, like how soon are you actually looking to get started? That question will probably be good based on what you're saying about this offer. Like sometimes I'll even, if I get the sense that like someone's just kicking tires and like they're not serious or whatever, I'll be like, hey, cool. So like, let me ask you, like, as long as everything aligns, like, are you at a place where, you're ready to like take action with this? Or would you say you're still more of in a research mode right now? Right? Like I'll give them an out. I'll literally give them the opportunity to tell me, hey, I'm in research mode, so that I can either prevent the objection or DQ the lead if I need to. Right? So I would usually go for, okay, great, as long as we're in alignment with everything, how soon are you really looking to move forward with something like this? Right? Not how soon are you looking to move forward, but hey, how soon are you looking to actually take action with something like this? It's kind of just like a general, right? I'm not saying, are you ready to buy my shit today? But I'm saying, how soon are you ready to, get the ball rolling in general, right? I'm looking to take action right away. Okay, great. And, when it comes to what we do, there is an investment involved, right? And like, we'll get into the details and everything, but is that something that you're comfortable with? Sometimes I'll throw that out, and then they'll usually ask me, great, so like, yeah, well, potentially, I mean, like, what's the investment? And then I'll just tell them. I'll just gauge how they respond to that, and then I'll get into the financial conversation if I feel the need to. That makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more of a smooth way to kind of get into the money. Just say like, yeah, gotcha. And like, listen, like as long as everything does make sense, like, obviously as you're probably already aware, when it comes to what we do, like there is an investment involved, right? Is that something that you're comfortable with? And then, if they want to know what the number is, they'll ask and you just tell them. You're like, yeah, no problem. It's X amount. And then like if you get the sense, in this case, definitely did not get the sense that she's like super tight or something. But if for some reason you get the sense that like someone is like super price sensitive and like they're really worried about the investment, hey, yeah, I mean it's X amount, and like we do have some payment options available as well. Like just be transparent about that. Like again, a lot of people are like, I'm never going to tell them the price, and I'm not going to, like there's no need to do it like that. Like they know what's up.
Yeah.
Was there anything, bro, that gave you the impression that, because I mean, I can't really understand the justification behind why you pitched her 3K instead of 5, to be honest.
It could have just been like because of my past calls and just like not, like where I was like going, into the call. I'm like, okay, fuck, haven't closed a call, just been dealing with people telling me they don't have money, like fuck. Like, maybe it must have just been in my head. I don't know.
So think of all those brokies who gave you a tough time on all the previous calls. Because of those motherfuckers, you made $200 less.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because they got into your head, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just giving you shit for that because, I like it's something that like I got stuck with for a long time. Yeah, just you got to move past that. There was like I mentioned, there was one guy. I was about to say this at the start, but I didn't. There was one guy who I worked with at the start. My best friend from high school. His name was Amon, and he got into high ticket sales slightly after me. Like I got into it first, right, and then like he got into it after. And then I remember I went to school for a bit. I was still in school, and then he just like stopped going to school completely, and he was just doing dials all day, every day. And like, he's one of my best friends from school, but like me and him, like always competitive. You know what I mean? Like he was like, soccer, hardcore there. I was, basketball. So like when I got back from school, like I just had a target on his back. I'm like, I need to outperform this guy. It was like a good, healthy, competitive relationship. And I remember I was so pissed because he was always outperforming me, always putting up more numbers than me, always closing higher ticket deals. And then I'll be like, it would piss me off. I'm like, how? Like we have the exact same leads. He's putting up, 5Ks and 8Ks, and I'm putting up like 1,500s and like $500 payment plans, and like I was so frustrated and annoyed about that. The difference was literally this. It was literally like the confidence level to just ask for more money. I was like, because he was always the first guy. He was like the first guy on the team to close a 5K, first guy on the team to close an 8K out of everybody, right? But it was literally just because he just had the balls to just ask for more money. It's like when you just ask for more dollars, you make more generally, right? It's very easy, like for me, it was something where like I would think, fuck man, I've had 5 calls today. I haven't closed anybody. It's my last call of the day. Okay, this guy's actually like a decent lead. I'd be like, okay, this guy's actually a good lead. Let me just like make sure that I close him. And I just maybe sell them the cheaper thing, right? Just to like make sure I lock it in, right? But that mindset is going to keep you broke. That mindset is bullshit. You have one good lead on the day, and like it's coming up, like, no, like you gotta pitch the highest thing, bro.
Is that kind of the imagine your prospect has infinite money, the Jordan Belfort quote or whatever?
I've never heard that quote.
Oh, that's yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like it's a better mindset than
Right.
but because you can think of it two ways, right? You can think, hey, my prospect has infinite amount of dollars, or you can think, hey, my prospect broke.
Right.
And yeah, like you just cannot kind of fall into that limiting belief. Yeah, there's something that Hermosi talks about. Like a lot of his old video. I remember an old video he talked about this where because they sold it was like a gym licensing offer. So they would sell information to gyms to teach gyms how to scale their businesses, right? And they had like, $10, $20, $50,000 offers, and they had like a bonus or like some kind of incentive based on like if the prospect freaks out about the investment or not. Where like he would tell all his reps like, yo, like we want our prospect, like when they hear the price to be like, holy shit, like that's expensive. Like that's what we want. Like that's a good sign. Right. And then you can get into the whole like anchoring concept too of like, if I anchor at 15K, but then I come down to 5K seems a lot more of a better deal as opposed to if I just told you it's 5K. Right? Like that's how the fucking grocery store makes its money. They just ramp up the prices on everything. They give you a 20% discount. And then relative to what the price was, you're like, wow, that's a great deal. But you're still getting scammed. Yeah, anyways, there's a lot of psychology when it comes to numbers, just like rule of thumb, like you can just pitch higher, you make more money. Very simple. What happened for the rest of this call here? Were there any objections?
I was just like getting her onboarded and helping her. I had the time, so just help. She was like didn't know how to navigate through the whole back end thing, so I was just kind of helping her
A bit about
walk her through that process,
like the
onboarding
type
and stuff like that.
videos. Like, do you guys match maybe like products to people or
Yeah.
garment?
No.
Anything that's gonna,
Yeah, we're not gonna be like.
Okay, so talk to me about like first step. Kind of walk me through like what the first month would look like.
First month, basically we'll get you up and running on here. We book a call in with Ryan, the co-founder, audit your page, see what's going on, get you on brand deals. You'll go on the weekly calls. You're posting content for your shop. You're getting feedback. What is that, like 12 coaching calls a month? You can hop on. You'll be posting your content, and really there's 3 calls a week because like a lot of like amateur creators, they'll come in and then they'll like post. They're on this whatever deal, or they're just running this product.
Okay. Buying questions. It looks like, so she had a buying question here, and then you talked for a big chunk, and then like another buying, and then she says another buying question, and then you talked a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So another like really important point, another like really key point is buying questions, right? When someone's ready to buy, like, the more you talk, the more likely you are to lose the sale. And I bet Micah, you've probably lost sales before. Like when they're asking buying questions and then out of nowhere, they're like, I'm just gonna take a night and then we'll get back to you. Right?
Yeah.
It's because you're just giving them too much information, right? At this point, like she's pretty happy, pretty receptive. Well, I mean, how do you transition from the end of your presentation to next steps?
I just kind of ask them, like, cool, like ask me some, like, you have like, what are your questions, just kind of general, like what's going on with them. And then last but not least, brand deals, gonna get you on brand deals. That's a guarantee here. You come under Logan's wing, these brands and like a good spot, because everyone sees that working. So it's like super saturated, with these other products that are like, not too much people are doing them, that you just have more of a niche. But yeah, you'll hop on calls. Logan's gonna show you the products, see what's best with you, audit your page, and really get you up and running here.
Okay, so talk to me about like first step. Kind of walk me through like what the first month would look like.
First month, basically we'll get you up and running on here. We book a call in with Ryan, the co-founder, audit your page, see what's going on, get you on brand deals. Today, it's like you can't see the future, right? Those commissions here. So and understanding everything that you're doing wrong, for the past year. So the next year we're not in the same spot.
Repeating the same bad habits.
Yeah.
But not knowing, right? Okay, so what happens if I get a brand deal, you coach me, and I do what you tell me to do, and I still don't make sales?
Well, I mean,
that's a true concern for me. Where I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like you can't see the future, right?
Right.
Neither can I. So it's just one of those things. But what?
Well, I guess my question is, am I gonna get booted out? You're gonna be like,
No,
look, lady.
No, we're here to help you. Like this is gonna be a lifetime.
Okay. Really important. Guys, and I want you guys all to like, note this down, remember this, like just learn this quickly. We want to, like, after you've dropped the entire presentation, like it's okay, great. So like that's what you're going to be getting access to. Any questions on how everything works? Right. And and then maybe she asks some questions, whatever, right? You want to be as brief as possible with buying questions, right? So yeah, like what's my first month going to look like? Yeah, that's a great question. We take care of the investment, we book your onboarding call, and then on that onboarding call, we're going to put together a game plan for your first month. Shut the fuck up, right? You just explained everything, like you just gave her your whole presentation, like trust your presentation, right? Just like answer the question, but do not over explain, because when you over explain, it shows a lack of confidence, right? Yeah, so we take care of the investment, we book your onboarding call, and actually on that onboarding call, we put together a custom game plan for you for your first 30 days in the program. Any other questions for me? Okay, great. Well, from everything that we went over here, how do you feel about all this? Do you feel that you'd have what you need to get to your goal of X, Y, and Z? Okay, awesome. Well, any further questions for me before we go ahead and get you started? Right, so like, get to it, right? She starts, okay, so like that's number one, right? At the end of your presentation, it's like keep control, right? Keep control of the conversation there. Great, so that's what you're going to be getting access to here. What questions do you have about the process? Yeah, this is my question, blah, blah, blah. You get past it. Okay, great. Any other questions for me before we go ahead and get you started? Let's say she has something else, right? So like what happens if like I follow what you do and I don't see results, right? So we want to respond to questions with other questions, okay? The best question that you can ask when you're in this buying question stage, where like they're basically ready to do it, but like they just need to justify it in their mind, right? The best question that you can ask is what? To respond to their question. What will be the best question you can ask?
Good question. And why do you ask?
Yeah, it's a great question for sure. And just out of curiosity, why do you ask? Right? Because she actually told us why she asked right here. You started responding to her question, Micah, and then you weren't actually answering her main concern.
Just really raising those commissions here. So and understanding everything that you're doing wrong, for the past year. So the next year we're not in the same spot.
Repeating the same bad habits.
Yeah.
But not knowing, right? Okay, so what happens if I get a brand deal, you coach me, and I do what you tell me to do, and I still don't make sales?
Well,
right. So that can mean so many different things. What happens if I do what you tell me to do, and I don't see results? That can mean like 5 different things, right? That could mean, I'm worried that what you're teaching doesn't actually work. I'm worried that I'm not going to put in the work and I'm going to get lazy and I'm going to lose accountability. I'm worried that I'm not going to get the support that I need. And then in this case, let's play it.
It's a true concern for me where I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like you can't see the future, right?
Right.
Neither can I. So it's just one of those things. But what?
Well, I guess my question is, am I gonna get booted out? You're gonna be like, look, lady.
Exactly. Am I going to get booted out of the program at a certain point? Yeah, it's a great question. And why do you ask? Yeah, I guess I'm just worried I'm going to get booted out of the program. Oh no, you won't. We have, you'll get full access to the coaching for the next 6 months, but then you'll actually have continued access to a lot of the trainings. You'll be able to continue using it past that point. That's it. Nothing else. Give me another buying question that you get.
Shoot, let me think. Oh, like a buying question, not like a one with like resistance or
Well, maybe with resistance, whatever. Just give me questions that you got at the end.
like is there like a refund or is that like what you mean like refund or is there can we split it up or is that not or is it more about like the program?
Yeah, potentially. Sorry, what are you asking?
If we could, is there like a guarantee like refund after if I come through it and it doesn't work or can we split it up
What do you mean? Sorry, you're asking a couple things.
or like could we split up the payment?
Okay. Bro, you're asking me like three things. Refund guarantee, split it up. Okay, and like when you say refund guarantee, like what do you mean?
Like if I come through the program and like, I just, want to make sure like if it doesn't work,
Gotcha. Okay. And like, I guess from everything that I just went over here, I guess like, what do you think the scenario would be where it doesn't work for you?
That's a good question. Probably if I don't see, start getting results or anything,
Right, for sure. But like I'm asking because yeah, the last thing I would want you to do would be to join, you don't get results, right? So like, what do you think would be the scenario where, we work with you, we get you on 5 group calls a week, hold your hand through the exact system that's worked for hundreds of people, right? What would be the scenario where like you don't see a result when you have access to something that's been successful for hundreds of people before you?
I'm not too sure. I don't really seems like, it'll work, right? I was just curious, nothing crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm glad you asked. I mean, let me ask you this. So like if I, give you a gym membership, you guaranteed to get jacked?
No.
Well, why not? Because you'd have the same tools that other jacked people have.
Right.
What's the difference between fat people and jacked people who have the same gym membership?
All the guys put in the work and, they show up every day, right?
Right. So, Micah, do you plan on like getting started and like, I don't know, next week, just stop showing up?
No.
Okay. So like I can count on you to like hop on every single call, implement exactly what we're telling you to do, and follow the steps here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, do you have any other questions for me before we go ahead and get you started?
Yeah, is there like could we like payment plan? Is there like a payment plan?
Okay. I mean, in some cases we do payment plans. Why do you ask?
It's just like it'd be easier to break it up.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, gotcha. And is it more of like it would just be easier for you, just be a little bit more comfortable, or is it like a case of like there's actually like kind of a financial situation, bills wouldn't be paid, XYZ, blah blah blah. Like, is there an issue there?
Yeah, just with bills and everything, I would say.
Okay, cool. We'll talk.
Pretty
Man,
tight.
what's the situation? What's going on? I'm here to help you out. I don't want you to be on the streets, man. What's up?
Yeah, just I'm super interested. I want to get through, but the 5K is just like a really big chunk, and it would just kind of put me in a.
You want to know a side note? Because like your prospects can always do that, right? Every offer out there is going to have payment plans, and your prospect can always just say, hey, like, I have the money, but can we just break it up into like your smallest payment plan possible?
Yeah,
So
that's
can,
like, I hate that.
Right. Well, like, let me ask you this. Like when we're, if you're taking like 2 minutes to respond to like their question and like fully explain everything, right? Versus when you just like, when you're just to the point and you just say exactly how it is, like when you have authority and control, like your prospect doesn't feel like they're able to like really ask for a payment plan. Like they're not going to feel comfortable at all asking for a payment plan if they don't need one. But like if you're, for lack of better words, like if you're bending over backwards and like explaining and talking and like, you know, like really going out of your way to like over explain and answer their question. Now they see you as like, okay, cool. Like this guy's here. Like, you know, he's just gonna, you know, I can kind of just, you know, boss him around and get him to do what I want. And when I ask him a question, he's going to try super hard to please me and tell me what I want to hear. At the end, I'm just going to, you know, ask for a payment plan. He's going to give me one. Versus, yeah, so your first month, we take care of the investment, we book your onboarding call, and then on that call, put together a custom game plan for the entire month. We'll go over all of that on the onboarding call. Okay, great. Right? What happens if this doesn't work out for me? What makes you think it wouldn't work out? Well, you know, I don't know. Well, like, let me ask you this, gym analogy. Are you going to show up? Okay, great. Any other questions for me? Ready to get started? You know, like you kind of have to just like minimum words there at the end, bro. Right? And if you want to role play that, I mean, let's role play it right now. Fuck it. We have another 15 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, Mike.
Or like, or if they say like they have like zero money, is that like the same situation, or is that just like?
Well, let's not role play. Let's not role play scenarios where, you know, you have to like scratch and claw for like a tiny payment plan, right? Like I'd prefer to role play scenarios where, you know, you can close like a paid in full deal with someone who actually has some cash. You know,
Okay.
so, like I wouldn't put too much attention and energy towards, and like that's kind of the reason why you didn't pitch this person 5K, right?
Yeah.
Because you're giving energy and attention to leads that just frankly aren't worth it. You know, like if you have a prospect who has the money and who's serious, and you have 5 other prospects, if you have 100 other prospects who are all broke and unqualified, you could be like, oh, well, like I got 99 objections of people who were broke. How do I overcome the I don't have the money objection? Like, or you can just say, hey, well, like I had like one banger prospect. Let me just focus on that person and how I can make sure that they're closed. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's always put energy towards prospects and calls that are worth putting energy towards. Yeah, Micah. Okay, so like, gotcha. All right. So like, what are the? I guess like, can you just like map out like the first month of what it would look like working with you?
Yeah, so you know, the first month, you know, from here, you know, we'll take care of the investment, get you onboarded, and then we're gonna be booking a one-on-one, you know, onboarding call with the, you know, the creator here.
Gotcha. Okay. And so like, how many people are actually in this community?
Yeah, that's a you know, good question. Why do you ask?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I'm just curious. You know, like there was a community I was in before, and there was like a million people in there, and I couldn't really get my questions answered. So it doesn't seem like that's what it is, but I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, cool. So you're just like seeing, you know, if you come in here, you're just wondering how much people, you know, so you're gonna get your answers actually answered and not just be like left alone in the back.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely important because I mentioned before, you know, like support and like, you know, having access to people who can help me. Like that's important to me, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's no problem. You know, you'll be able to ask questions on every call and every day. You know, you can always, you know, ask as much questions as you want.
Okay, gotcha. So like, see, it's like you just like, boom, what's next? Like that's
Yeah.
it, done, easy. Okay, so like, and like, not that, you know, just so I know, like, do you guys have like a refund policy in place or something?
That's a good question. Why do you ask?
Hit it with the right tone. Yeah, so like, just out of curiosity, like, just so I know, do you guys have like a refund policy that's in place?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why do you ask?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess like I'm just, you know, I mean, in the case where I don't know, like I do everything and I follow what you guys tell me to do, and for some reason I don't see results. Like I don't think that's going to be the case, but like just so I know, like, do you guys have that?
No, we don't. But let me ask you this. You know, if you come in here, you know, with all the coaching calls, you know, 3 calls a week, you know.
Hang on, bro. Hang on. You're already explaining. What's a question you could ask here?
Do you feel like, you know, with all the support here, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to go, or you're going to get the results you want?
I definitely do think I'll be able to get to where I want to go for sure. I just like in the case where like for some reason I don't, you know.
Okay. What's making you, you know, just out of curiosity, make you feel like you're not going to be able to get there?
Well, like ask me like, okay, well, like what do you think would be the scenario where like you do this and it doesn't work out for you?
Okay. What do you think would be the scenario if you do this and it doesn't work out for you?
I mean, like I guess like the only thing I can really think of that comes to my mind is like if I just like don't do it, right? But that I definitely, you know, plan on being extremely active and like following everything that you guys say. So I don't really know. I was just asking because I was curious.
Yeah, I gotcha. And so, yeah, you genuinely feel like if you know, you show up every day, you know,
You know what you can do here? Like, bro, like because like I understand why someone is asking that question. Like, I understand, but like it's kind of a dumb question,
yeah.
right? So I'd be like, I'd kind of subtly let them know that it's a dumb question, right? So I'd be like, okay, cool. So I got you, Michael. What do you think would be the scenario where like you do this and it doesn't work out for you? Yeah, well, like I mean, the only scenario is if I don't do it, but like I plan on being super fucking active, so I don't even see that being the case. I mean, I guess just like I don't know, like I just don't know. Okay, gotcha. So like what you're asking is like if the sky falls down, like the world ends, like are you gonna get some money back? Like listen,
Yeah.
like if a zombie apocalypse breaks out, Michael, like we're not gonna have a need for a couple $1,000. We're gonna have bigger problems than that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. But awesome. I mean, you're committed to putting in the work and you feel confident that as long as you do put in the work, you'll get the result?
100%.
For sure. Well, like, and then if I might even just ask for the sale. Okay, great. So do you have any other questions before we go ahead and get started? Like, you know, sometimes you can just ignore people's objections, by the way. Like, I don't know if you guys knew that. Well, that whole refund thing, like I could just be like, okay, great. Like, do you have any other questions or should I shoot you over the checkout link? Like, that's fine. Like I dealt with it. If you continue doubling down on that, then it's like, what would it be? I'd be like, yeah, well, like, listen, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like, I think there's always like there's no such thing as a guarantee, right? And if like you're looking for 100% guarantee, well, I mean, like, can you tell me like anything in any realm where success is 100% guaranteed?
Um, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, like you even like took a second to think about it, right? And like when you think about it like that, like is anything guaranteed? Like 100% for a certainty?
Well, like, you know, the way I do business, you know, with my guys, you know, we have a contract and, you know, we work it, you know, like monthly. So it's like
Okay.
we're both
A
coming in.
contracts get broken every single day. You know, contracts aren't guaranteed.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it shows, you know, 50-50, you know, meeting us halfway and, you know, like you're going to be showing up to the calls and, you know, like I'm going to be showing up to the calls and we're just, you know, just making sure we're all on page here for the next six months.
Okay, so you asking me that question shows me that I haven't built any authority on this call. Like you don't respect me, you don't trust me. Like I've fucked up earlier on in the conversation.
Okay.
But even if you do, I'd be like, okay, well, like what are you asking for here, man? Like, okay, I mean, like, let's say this, Micah. Let's say like I send you an email right now of like I 100% guarantee that you make 10 grand a month in the next 30 days. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to build a business, right? And I don't have a magic wand that's going to get you there. You know, so like, I mean, listen, man, like if you're you know getting into business and you're looking for a guarantee to be successful, you're going to look for a long time before you find one. You know, let me ask you this: like, who do you think is more successful? The person who is willing to act despite risk, or the person who's just terrified of risk and who's never going to take it?
A person that's going to take the risk.
Yeah. So I mean, do you think that to get to where you want to get to, of making 50 grand a month, being the provider that you want to be for your family, you know, X, Y, Z, all those goals you told me about, do you think that to get there, you're going to get there by like looking for guarantees, or you think you're going to have to take some steps where there is some potential risk?
Probably take some steps for the, you know, potential risk.
Right. And listen, like what business is all about is about mitigating the risk, right? It's about doing everything that you need to do on your side to show up, take advantage. And I can assure you, we're going to do everything on our side to give you exactly what you're going to need to be successful. As long as you do those things, I think you can expect to be successful.
Yeah.
Do you have any further questions for me before we go ahead and get started? Right. But it's like the whole back and forth, it's all
Yeah.
questions, right? It's not me just like yapping about a bunch of shit, right? It's questions, you know? So yeah, just with those buying questions, bro, keep them short, keep them brief. Don't feel that like more words are helping you. They're actually hurting you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Damn. I did not expect to review the call for a full hour and a half, but
I got it.
yeah, what's up?
Yeah. When it comes to that's a good question. So what do you mean by that? How many times do you say that? Like, how many times can you put that out there in the same conversation before it gets kind of weird? Because like I'm thinking, if somebody kept on asking me back to back, like I think like they're just fishing for the right answer for what I want to hear.
Yeah, like I noticed that in this role play, right? It was like twice. There was 2 questions in a row where it was, "Why do you ask?" Yeah, I mean you gotta switch it up. Okay, for sure. And like just so that I can respond in the best way and make sure you have all the information that you need, like where does that question come from? You know? Okay, cool, gotcha. And like when you say like, do we have a guarantee? I mean, I guess like what exactly do you mean by that?
Okay.
Right? Like just a follow-up question to their question is really all you need. Like it doesn't really matter what the question is. You just follow up to their question, get them to explain themselves a little bit more. And a lot of the times, like they'll just answer their own question. And then again, right? We talked about this earlier. You'll use up 0 energy or effort to, you know, move the needle forward, right? Which is what we want.
Yeah. I got another question, real quick. Essentially, when the buying questions do come up, there's really 2 reasons for it. One is they're just looking, like they're genuinely curious about like the package or offer, or secondly, it's like a potential objection that they just want maybe clarification on.
Not. I would say they're just curious. I don't think that's ever the case. I think what it is, it might be an objection, like a concern that's on their mind.
Yeah.
Really what it is, like buying questions, what that means is like your prospect, they made a decision. They're like, okay, all right, like this aligns with what I want. Like, I think I'm going to do this. Now they're just trying to like justify their decision, right? Now you just need to like, you know, drive it home, right? Just get them over the line, right? That last little bit. But, you know, someone like, bro, every single one of you guys, when you guys invested into this program, if you don't have some kind of like, fuck, I just dropped a bunch of cash on this, like, I really hope this works out. Like, if you don't have some doubt that this is going to work, and if you just came into this like blindly, I'm going to be successful with 0 doubt at all, like, you're a psychopath, you know? Like, every single one of you guys had that float through your mind.
Yeah.
It's
The
like
unknown.
the difference is you took action despite that, right? So it's like whether it's an objection or not, you know, it's like it'll be on their mind, right? But it doesn't mean it's necessarily an objection, you know.
So you handle it in a similar way as you do as an objection, essentially. Just get kind of clarify what they mean, where it's coming from, and you might build their belief of or clear up some uncertainty, whatever it may be.
Well, okay, I'm glad you brought this up because, again, like if I went down that refund guarantee rabbit hole, and if I took that too seriously, and then I start getting into this whole like belief thing, you know, I could have, you know, it's kind of like if a girl's ready to go home with you, you know, you're like 10 minutes into the date and like she's giving you signs. Like you could drag it on and take her to ice cream and then go somewhere else and then go do this and then go do that because you're like, no, I need to get to know her more. I need to get to know her. Or you can just take, you know what I mean? Like like sometimes you just got to close, right? Like you don't need to drag things on. The longer you drag it on, the more likely you are to fumble. You know, so like that's why I say, like, sometimes you can just ignore objections, just move past them, just act like they're not there. Right. So like, you know, we're just talking about like the sky falling down if there's a zombie apocalypse, like if you're gonna get a refund or not. That's what you're worried about. Okay. Well, you'll have bigger problems by that. You have any other questions for me? You're ready to just do this? Yeah, man, I'm ready to go. Or I could like fall deep. So like you kind of just want to assume, the sale at the end of the call, right? You want to assume the sale, assume they're sold until you get, you know, it's like they say, assume you're innocent until proven guilty, right? They're closed until proven not closed.
Yo, real quick, before you click off the video, shout out to you for making it through this entire thing. I believe it's like just a couple percentage points of people who will actually make it through a hour and 20-minute YouTube video. So that says a lot about you. If you learned something, great. I encourage you to actively apply it into your next call recording. Don't just click off this video and forget everything that you learned in a couple hours, but take down a couple notes and implement it to your next call. Okay, now with that said, if you want more of this, training, we actually give away some free training in the description down below. It's about 5 hours covering our entire 10-step framework. You're going to learn a lot of the principles and concepts and a lot more. To build on top of what you got from this video. Okay, you're also going to find there's a role play group. There's scripts, PDFs. We give away all of it for free. That way you can get an understanding of what our approach looks like. You can use it to make money, and then at that point you would consider cutting the trial and error. Stop trying to figure it out all on your own and actually get some mentorship and get some coaching and join us within our community where maybe one day I can rip apart one of your call recordings live in front of everybody. Maybe I'll post it on YouTube. Maybe I won't. But anyways, check out the links in the description, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.